Good morning, boys and girls. This morning we're going to be learning some more about parts of speech. So, what that is our English language. We've done quite a lot this term. So, we've done verbs, which are doing words, like run and hop. And remember, we did that little poem, hop a little, jump a little, 1, 2, 3. So, those were our verbs, our doing words. Then we looked at nouns, our naming words, and naming words with special names, like street names, months, days, names of people, places, all have capital letters. So those were called proper nouns. Then everyday things were called nouns. And then we did adjectives when we did the crooked mile with a man who lived in the crooked house, and we looked at words to describe or tell us more about the coin, the cat, the smile, and so on. So we're going to have a look a little bit more about describing words, but we're not going to do it with adjectives. We're going to look at this word simile. Okay, and simile is similar to similar. So if you say that something is similar to something else, so you can say a red pen is similar to a blue pen because they are both pens. They're nearly the same. They're a little bit different. So similar means they're nearly the same. It means that they're not exactly the same. Otherwise, it would be the same. But when they're similar, it means they're nearly the same. So the way we use them in English is to describe something with something else that is similar to that thing. So we use these two words, as and as. And when you see as and as, you know that we are using a simile. Now, there are ones in English that have been used for many, many years, but there is no problem with us having a look at new ones. And that's what I'd like to do today, is to have a look at the old ones. And those are the ones in your book that we're going to look at. But then we're going to have a look at what a simile is, and you're going to invent some of your new ones. Because as long as you've got it with an idea that it is similar to something else and it makes sense, then you've got it right. You don't have to use the ones that have been used for many, many years. So, the first one we're going to do, as purple as a, what could you think about purple? Okay, the first thing that comes to my mind is a dinosaur, and that dinosaur's name is Barney, of course. So we could say as purple as Barney. And anybody that knows Barney the dinosaur would automatically think of the color purple. And that is correct then, because purple is similar to Barney in the idea of it, because Barney is purple. And when we think of Barney, we see purple. So as purple as Barney, that's our first simile, because we always have as something. Right. As green as, what is always green when you think? Right, so you could have maybe said as green as the spring leaves on a tree. As green as my dad's car, if your dad's car is green. But the old one, and the one that we normally use, is as green as grass. But it wouldn't be winter grass, because winter grass isn't green, winter grass is yellow. And we wouldn't say as green as Barney, because that is not similar. Purple is similar to Barney, and we wouldn't say as purple as grass, because grass is never purple, unless you've painted it, like Anne in the house that had enough. Okay, let's have a look at this one. As cold as. I would say as cold as a windy morning at the gate at LaSalle College, when I had to stand out there when it was supposed to be spring. Or you could say as cold as the frozen peas in my freezer. But the old one is as cold as ice. And I'm not sure what you thought was cold. As cold as ice cream in my freezer, as cold as our freezer. I don't know what you thought of. Or as cold as the water in my fridge. I'm not sure what you chose. As hot as. As hot as the boiling water in our kettle. As hot as our stove. As hot as a summer's day. As hot as me after PT with Coach Fernando, or whatever you thought of when you have felt hot or something is hot that is similar to hot. Remember I said purple goes with Barney because they are similar, green and grass. You wouldn't say as cold as boiling water. As wobbly as. As wobbly as a flat ball that's going flat, then it's wobbly. Or as wobbly as jelly. Maybe you can think of something that's wobbly. As thin as. As thin as a bird's legs. As thin as a matchstick. What can you think of that's thin? And then mad, not mad as in crazy, but mad as in angry. So what can you think of that gets really mad? Maybe as mad as mom when the dog runs in with muddy paws when she's just cleaned the floor. Or as mad as dad when I spill my milkshake in his car. Or as mad as me when I can't get my game right, what can you think of that is really mad, that's similar to something else? Right, so those are the similes that we have done now, and we've made up a whole lot of new ones, and not the old ones, like as green as grass, as cold as ice, as thin as a rake, as mad as a snake. Right, so those are the old ones. Now we're going to have a look on page 37 of your Clever Comprehension book, this book, and we're going to go through it, and then you can complete it on your own. So in the story that we're going to read later on in the week, the car trip, they use a simile, I'm as quiet as a mouse. But now that we know what similes are, we're going to go through them now. I'm not going to write them down, and then you can complete this exercise. So it's on page 37 in your book, but first watch the video and then you can complete it on your own. So they give the following answers. We've just chosen our own ones, but they have given you ones to choose from. So gold, snow, mouse, rock, and feather. So let's see what is similar to these. As quiet as a mouse. As quiet as a mouse. And that's the one they use in the story. As good as gold. The grade ones are as good as gold. As soft as a, and the a or a there gives us a clue, because we couldn't say as soft as a snow, as soft as a rock, no, rocks are not soft, as soft as a feather. As white as snow. And the last one, let's see if you can do it without even having a look what we've already used. As hard as a gold, we've used snow, mouse, feather, rock. As hard as a rock. So let's go through them one more time. As quiet as a mouse. As good as gold. As soft as a feather. As white as snow. As hard as a rock. And I hope that you are going to complete this beautifully, and that you are going to be as good as gold and have a wonderful, wonderful break. And I know that you are, because you've completed your home learning so nicely during term 3. So later on in the week, you're going to complete the rest of this exercise, but now we've completed the exercise on similes. So now you know about similes and adjectives.